What's up, guys? Welcome back to Second Best Gaming. Jesse here, with a little Disney Infinity today. It's been a while since I played this game, and I just thought, you know, the game just reached its 1 year anniversary of the day it was canceled, the day Disney shuttered Avalanche Software. Fortunately, they're back together now. The day Disney, kind of pulled out of the in-house development of video games and kind of decided to go back to their old way of licensing out the properties. So I just want to kind of have a video kind of remembering this game. It was, for those who really played Disney Infinity or really kind of got into it, it was a really special game, and it was a game worth kind of going back and talking over and kind of going remembering. And so that's kind of all I want to do today. I'm gonna play a toy box, just find something random that I love, kind of play through it and talk about my experiences with the series. So I guess starting out, I just want to talk about how, kind of like the atmosphere, kind of like the kind of way the perception of Disney Infinity. The first Disney Infinity launched in the summer of 2013, and back then I was at the tail end of my just wrapping up high school, still in the tail end of my like too cool for school kind of phase. We video games kind of weren't my main focus anymore. I thought I was cool. Everything was about my social life and my music and things like that. And I focused less on like the nerdier things or like the things at the time I thought were less important to me. So I kind of just dismissed Disney Infinity. I had that kind of surface level vision of it that I think a lot of people have, where it's just kind of like, oh, well, this is clearly for children, and this is clearly not like a real game. Real games have good graphics that look like realistic and are about, like shooting people, or about, they deal with like big important themes and focus on story. Video games aren't about dicking around, because I was too cool to at the time to kind of appreciate that kind of stuff. Well, before I go any further, let me find a quick toy box to get into. Alright, so I've selected an Epcot toy box because Epcot is the greatest theme park of all time and is my favorite place in the world, and it's fucking awesome. The fact that people recreate Epcot in Disney Infinity is super cool. So anyway, like I said, Disney Infinity 1.0 came out, summer 2013. At the time, I think in retrospect, it's really easy to go back and look at Disney Infinity 1.0 as like this very good shell of what Disney Infinity could be. The toy box seemed very promising, but didn't have the tools that obviously we know it had later in Disney Infinity 3.0. The toy boxes, in my opinion, actually were the best they ever got. I went back and played Disney Infinity 2.0, 1.0 after I got into the series. And in my opinion, the 1.0 toy boxes were actually the peak of the series. They were like full-fledged games, each game being very different from the other ones. The Cars game was very different from Pirates of the Caribbean, which is very different from Monsters University. And just, I think they did a really nice job with them, which clearly was the problem with 2.0, which is when they really dropped the ball, but more into that later. So the game came out, and it was actually really well received. The Toys to Life genre was already a little bit underway because Activision had launched that Skylanders series, which was proving to be extremely successful. In fact, as out of touch as video games as I was back in 2013, I definitely remember just those toys flying off the shelves. Just impossible to get your hands on. Those are super popular. And then Disney threw their hat in the ring, and I mean, this isn't exactly how the history of Disney Infinity went. It's a lot more in depth than this, but Disney Infinity launched in the summer of 2013, and it was an even better Toys to Life game, and it did super well. And of course, with those Disney brands attached to it, it just flew off shelves and did so well. And of course, turned it into a franchise. There's a sequel. And then 2.0 came out the next year in 2014, and I think kind of slumped a little bit in most people's opinions. It seemed exciting that we were going to get all the Marvel superheroes, but it ultimately ended up falling a little short of people's expectations. I think the Avengers playset overall was kind of The Spider-Man playset was kind of meh, but the toy box was a little bit better. The tools were a little bit better, and I think the community started to really develop around 2.0, especially if you ask me. So 3.0 came out in 2015, and this is like, okay, they've got Star Wars, they got the Trinity, they have this Disney Pixar thing in 1, they've got Marvel superheroes in 2, and now they've got Star Wars coming in 3.0. And I think 3.0 is really when the franchise like caught the attention of the world. I think it's when people outside the Disney Infinity community kind of started like paying attention, going, okay, well, this thing's been around a couple years, and it's 3 games in. This is something. This isn't going anywhere. This is evidently a thing now, you know. And I think it's when most people started turning their heads. And if not, if for anything really, like if not for the fact that it had been around a while and the new entries kept coming out, Star Wars alone just kind of sold the third one to people, I think. So 3.0 was announced, and then it just all of a sudden I just remember this awareness of Disney Infinity 3.0, or Disney Infinity in general just kind of being a thing, and that's kind of when I started paying attention to it. I was just a little bit into college at that point, and I was kind of like getting back into my like, hey, knock out of your stupid adolescent self and kind of focus on the things that you care about and that make you you. And I started reconnecting with a lot of things I loved again, video games mainly being one of those things. And between Disney theme parks and video games, my two biggest passions of life, really. I kind of like took to Disney Infinity like, hey, this thing's been around a couple years. Why the hell is this not like the biggest deal to me? And I went out. This was about 3 months before 3.0 came out. I went out knowing that 3.0 was coming out. I was anticipating it. I was excited. You know, I had that 2015 Star Wars hype that everyone had, anticipating The Force Awakens. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give Disney Infinity a try. And I went out. I picked up a playset for 2.0 on sale. Came with actually this figure, Merida, and Stitch, my first few Disney Infinity figures. And I remember I went home that night, I plugged it up, knowing very little about the game, having not seen much other than a couple of reviews and maybe some YouTube videos, and just going, let's see what this game's all about. And the first thing I did was I went to the community content, and I was like, I wonder if people try to create Disney theme parks and theme park attractions in this game. Typed in Disney World or Magic Kingdom or something, and boom, all this user-created content popped up, and it immediately just went, oh, I see the appeal. And I think that was the moment where I was just like, this is something special. This is something I really care about. And from there, I was hooked. I bought 3.0 the day it came out, started collecting the figures, hoarding, because, you know, hoarding more action figures and more collectible junk is exactly what a Disney fan / video game fan needs in their room. I went all out with Disney Infinity, and I started watching, you know, the YouTube series they had, the Toy Box TV, following the community, finding members who created toy boxes I enjoyed on Twitter, and just kind of really indulging in this Disney Infinity community. And what you realize is it's like this perfect blend of like people who are kind of like me, the people who love Disney and the people who love video games, and like that kind of perfect in between spot. And it was just, there was nothing else like it. I subscribed to the Inside Infinity podcast, followed all the fan sites, and it's just, Disney Infinity was such a special thing, especially during the timeline of 3.0, that last year it was around from 2015 to 2016. There was just such a positive, enthusiastic community surrounding the game, and it was so much fun to be a part of that. But unfortunately, you know, like all good things, it had to end. So I'll never remember the day Disney Infinity ended, because I was just fortunate enough to start writing for a Disney website, which was super exciting for me. And they brought me on like, hey, you play video games, we see you have this video game website, would you like to, like, we're kind of thinking maybe you could be the guy to write about like video games for the site. And I was like, yeah. In my head I was like, I want to write about theme parks, but fuck yeah, that'd be awesome to get to write about Disney Infinity on a fucking Disney website all the time. And I was so psyched about it. And I remember the next day I actually had a trip to Disney World planned. So I went down with my girlfriend to Orlando. We were at Epcot. Fitting, right? Epcot. We were around the World Showcase watching Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, right around here where Merida's standing. We were in line, ready to see we were just in the crowd, ready to see this fireworks spectacular. I was in a good mood, you know. I just started writing for the site. I was at Disney World, my favorite place on earth. Everything was good. And then I pull out my phone, and what do I see? My Twitter's blowing up, and people are like, oh my God, Disney Infinity is canceled. I'm like, wait, what? I had to do a double take, and just my whole night was ruined. I was like, they can't do this. This is the most special game. It's just the whole thing. It was shock. It was just like total shock. It was just like hearing the worst news. I didn't know I could be so emotionally attached to a video game franchise, or just a video game development studio that I had no affiliation with. I know no one who works there. I don't work there. They don't affect me really in any way too big, but just my heart went out to the members of Avalanche Software that lost their jobs that day, and all the people affected financially who lost their jobs that day, and just the community that lost such a special game. And Disney Infinity had such a long, slow death. Like, Disney shortly afterwards kind of announced what they were doing with the servers. It wasn't even until like a month or two ago the servers really officially shut down. But you could just kind of see over the course of 2016 the community around Disney Infinity just slowly dying, and it was just so sad because it was such a special thing. Immediately, Disney, the Toy Box TV on YouTube went down. Everything, like the studio, the community, everything was just shut down, and there was just like this rubble, this ashes left. That's all there was, and it was just really hard to kind of be a part of that and kind of deal with that. So unfortunate, but nonetheless, that's what happened. That Disney Infinity, what was it, the Finding Dory place that was already in the works. Like, listen, this Finding Dory place that's coming out, it's already done. It's basically just in transit, so we're just gonna ship it out to stores, sell it, game's over, okay? And it was just like getting that last place that was like bittersweet the day it came out. It was sometime in June, I think, and I was just like, man, I'm never going to buy another brand new Disney Infinity figure or playset ever again. And then that fall, Moana came out, and all those leaks started happening, all that news about, the Moana playset that's never going to be, Kotaku reported a bunch on it. And I just remember, like, just that feeling of like, oh, that's so lame. We're never going to get to play this Disney Infinity thing. And then Moana, the movie, came out, and I saw it, and it quickly became one of my all-time favorite Disney movies of just, it's so great. And I was just like, oh, there's nothing to play. There's no Disney Infinity anything. So I don't know, it's just I've seen a lot of people in my Twitter, the Disney Infinity people I follow, like a lot of the podcasts eventually kind of shut down, and the servers eventually went offline, and it's just like, there are people with a great attitude who are like, hey, let's appreciate that we ever even had this game. The game's still there. You can still, like right now, you can still put your figures on the base. You can still plug the game in your Xbox. You can still play the game, but it's not the same now that it's gone. It's just really sad. It was a special thing that came and went in like a flicker. It was there and it was gone. And I guess my biggest like regret is that I didn't get into it sooner. I think it would have been so cool if I was there from day one back in 2013. Like, yeah, whatever this thing is, I'm on board. Let's play this. But I only got to experience it for about the last year of its lifespan, and it was just unfortunate because it's such a special game. It was such a special community, and now it's just kind of, all those people I've watched them like kind of become fractured and go in different directions and focus on other things. Some people became more focused on other aspects of Disney. Some people kind of went and leaned more into other aspects of video games, but it was kind of a lost just an unfortunate happening, because I'm like, the world already has enough people covering, Disneyland, and enough people covering just PlayStation video games. It's just unfortunate that this really special niche community kind of just died. So yeah, it's been a year since Disney Infinity shut down. Wanted to kind of pay my respects to the game, make a little video. I know I didn't really play around. I just kind of wandered around this playset, but I figured it'd be fitting to play as one of the first figures I ever got, and kind of play in Epcot. This kind of meta idea of like playing Disney Infinity in Epcot, which is where I was when I found out the game had been canceled. So yeah, just a lot of respect for. I just want to give my thanks to the team at Avalanche Software who poured their lives into this game over the course of like 4 or 5 years, making this dream happen. It was a great experience, and I'm glad it's still here to play. You can still go to Walmart and pick up a new Disney Infinity figure for $3 on clearance, which is kind of sad to see, but man, I recommend. I don't think this game. I don't think the value's gone now that the game's been shut down. If you're still hesitant, if you still think about Disney Infinity and you've never played it, it's totally worth giving it a try. There's still so much you can do. It's such a wonderful, special game, and I think it's definitely something worth showing your support for. So, thanks again for watching, guys. As always, the website, Second Best Gaming. Check that out for more videos and information, articles, reviews. You can also find our YouTube channel, which you're probably on if you're watching this video. So if you're interested, like, subscribe, whatever. It's not my place to tell you what to do. And as always, just thank you for watching, guys, and we will see you next time. Say goodbye, Merida. Close enough.